We want to welcome our panelists, distinguished colleague who is doing an incredible job as our special envoy. We welcome him back, not only to the Senate, but to this committee, where he served with such distinction and had a passion for Africa that is still evident today. And to all of our distinguished panelists and guests, and to Mr. Aflaq for clearly drawing so much attention to this important international issue. Now, I say that on a serious note. Mr. Aflaq has pursued his interest in the Eastern Congo with thoughtfulness, seriousness of purpose over 9 trips, and so we appreciate him in that context. We're here to shed light on the best way forward to end the horrific violence in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Over the last 2 decades, over 5 million people have been killed, hundreds of thousands more displaced. There have been brutal killings, continued recruitment and conscription of child soldiers, and horrendous acts of sexual violence against women and girls. The M23 rebellion was just the latest iteration of a long conflict that has stalled economic development and destroyed the social fabric of communities in Eastern Congo. I commend the work of the international group of envoys, including our own special envoy, as I said, a good friend and former colleague, Senator Feingold, as well as regional players like Uganda, for their efforts to promote political reconciliation in the DRC. But the apparent end of the M23 rebellion has not ended the violence. The latest UN group of experts report documented evidence of continued recruitment by the M23 and the regional threat posed by the FDLR, the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda, by Kata Katanga, and by various Mai Mai militias and dozens of other groups. At the end of the day, the international community must send a clear and forceful message that the era of impunity for those who commit human rights violations is over. I commend the Congolese government for taking the first important step with the passage of the new amnesty law that seeks to hold those who have committed acts of genocide fully accountable. There is, however, much more to do. Before I turn to our distinguished ranking member, I'm pleased that we are joined today by Dr. Denis Mukwege, founder of the Panzi Hospital in Bukavu. Dr. Mukwege has been a tireless advocate for human rights and the rights of women. Both he and the Panzi Hospital are internationally known for being there 24/7 for survivors of sexual violence. So, Doctor, I'd ask you to stand and be recognized. We don't do that often, but this is an extraordinary feat. Thank you very much. I want to thank you, Doctor, for being with us today. I ask unanimous consent that the doctor's prepared statement be submitted for the record. Without objection, so ordered. His statement and our panelists' testimony will help answer the questions before us. What is their assessment of the security situation in the East since the end of the M23 rebellion? What are other armed groups pose a threat to the Congolese government and civilian populations? What are the economic and political dimensions of the conflict? What is the current status of political reconciliation under the Peace, Security, and Cooperation Framework and the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration process? And what role will other regional actors play? And how can the United States government best continue to support regional and international efforts towards peace and stability in the African Great Lakes region?